Hey there, friend. Welcome to Live with Ease. My name is Julia, and today I thought we would take some time to practice some deep self-love and patience, as many people in the Live with Ease community have reached out about a practice to help with acute low back discomfort and pain. So this practice, we are going to spend focusing on the natural breathing process and integrating that breathing process with some subtle, gentle movements to help unlock some of that low back discomfort. And it might resonate into the hips as well, and those SI joints. Before we begin, maybe take a few moments to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like, share the video, share the channel with someone who you think would benefit from this practice or any of the practices on this channel. A few things you'll need. You will need a blanket or a towel that you will roll up or fold up. At least two cushions. So if you have two couch cushions, if you have a bolster, awesome. You don't need a fancy yoga bolster. I usually just use cushions. I kind of collect them when people get rid of them because I find them useful in my yoga practice. So there's no need to worry about any fancy props. And also a yoga mat. So pause this video, grab those things, get into your yoga cozies, and I will meet you on the virtual mat very, very soon. All right, so now that you got all your goodies set up, ready to go, your cushions, your towel or blanket, roll up that towel and or blanket and place it underneath your knees. And then you're going to take the thinner cushion and bring it up towards the back of your pelvis. And you're going to slowly roll your way down, make your way down. And then you might need to bend your knees for a brief moment and just lift the pelvis and place the cushion under the pelvis and then extend the knees again. If you feel like there's too much of an arch on the back, you're experiencing discomfort in the low back, then roll up the towel a little more so the knees are a little more supported and a bit more elevated. So once you get all cozy and set up, making sure that thinner cushion is low enough on the pelvis, not under the low spine. Make sure it's right under the pelvis there. Good. And then take a few moments to settle the body. And we're gonna tap into or follow the natural breathing process. And this is gonna take a bit of time just to get ourselves into that parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation response, which can help that acute discomfort and pain in the low spine. And know that at any point, if your body feels like it needs to move or adjust, you need to bend the legs or draw the legs into the abdomen, please honor that for yourself. Move when you need to move, and then maybe revisit the legs extended if you'd like, or keep them bent. Find comfort. So in any case, we are going to find as much comfort as we can and see if we can settle here for a while. But again, move if you absolutely need to. It's better than holding yourself here and tensing, because that kind of defeats the purpose of what we're doing. Yeah, we want to find a nice calm nervous system. So as you start to settle and rest, bring your awareness to the breathing and see if you can notice, not only observe, but sense the breath moving in and out of the nostrils. So as I observe and sense the breath here, or the breath awareness in and out of the nostrils, It's just a simple observation and awareness. So I'm not taking big inhales and exhales through the nose. I just want to follow what is in this moment. Noticing the breath entering the nostrils, noticing it exiting the nostrils. Maybe noticing the temperature of the breath. Perhaps the breath is cooling inside the nostrils and warming as you breathe out. So cooling as you breathe in, warming as you breathe out. See if that's true for you. And just simply follow the rhythm of the breath in and out through the nostrils. And then maybe send the awareness of the breath to the back of the mouth, back of the throat. And then seeing if you can sense the flow of the breath in this area, in the throat, the back of the mouth, up and down, free flowing breath. You begin to sense any vibrations or sensations in the throat, back of the mouth. What do you feel on the skin surrounding the throat? And then see if you can find the awareness of the breath flowing down into the trachea. So the trachea is kind of that little notch at the base of the neck, the top of the chest, a little space between the collarbones. See if you can send the awareness of the breath here. Feeling the breath flow in this space. Send it deep in the body, touching on the walls of the trachea and perhaps the surrounding area. And then allow the breath to travel and flow down into the bronchioles. So the trachea is an air passageway sending the air into the bronchioles, which eventually go into the lungs. But for now, see if you can continue to follow the journey of the breath from the trachea to the bronchioles. Little branches of air passages to the lungs. It's more accessible to think of or imagine or sense the breath in the chest cavity. Feel the breath flowing here. And And then eventually following the breath down into the lungs. See if you can notice or feel the lungs expanding as the breath travels into the lungs receiving the air, and then the lungs deflating or softening, relaxing as you expel the air. Sending the mind's eye or the awareness deep in the body into the lungs. Following the rhythm of the expansion and softening. And see if you can carry this awareness into the rib cage. So as the lungs expand, the rib cage expands as a result. And then noticing the softening of the rib cage as you exhale, the softening of the lungs. So again, the rib cage responding to the lungs. And even the simple awareness of the ribs expanding can invite the lungs to actually expand a little more, moving towards its full capacity to receive air and expel air, allowing these two structures, the organs, the structure of the rib cage to work together. Feeling the breath flow here. And then following the awareness of the breath down into the abdomen. Let's see if we can shift some of that awareness into the abdominal space. Again, noticing, feeling for expansion and softening, or the rise and fall of the belly as you breathe. Again, I'm not doing anything, I'm just being, I'm just allowing myself to be, allowing myself to breathe with the awareness of the breath in specific areas. Again, noticing the rise, expansion of the abdomen as you breathe in. And the fall and softening of the abdomen as you breathe out. And then seeing if we can integrate the entire process, the whole process from nostrils to abdomen and back out. So inviting the awareness of the breath traveling in through the nostrils, the back of the mouth, the throat, trachea, down into the bronchioles, lungs, rib cage, abdomen. And then as you exhale, start by softening the abdomen and following the breath back out, softening the ribs, lungs, through the bronchioles, trachea, throat, back of the mouth, nostrils. Try a few breath cycles like this, following the journey of the breath all the way down into the abdomen, even though the breath doesn't go into the abdomen, there is a result of abdominal movement with the natural breathing process. So just becoming aware of that invitation to send the energy of the breath all the way down to the abdomen and back out. Good. And then if you'd like to, at some point, you might not be ready to move. You might be enjoying the observation and the sensing of the natural breathing process here. So continue with that as long as you'd like. If you do choose to move, you can bend one knee at a time. So bending both knees, but one at a time, drawing them into the abdomen. Good. Letting both legs fall towards the abdomen, nice and easy. Checking in with that upper body. Can I keep that upper body soft, heavy, relaxed? And allowing the weight of the legs to fall towards the torso. If you want to invite any gentle rocking of the legs side to side. Maybe some gentle circling. Be sure to circle both ways. Go nice and easy, especially if you're feeling a bit sticky in that low spine. Good. I can also invite that natural breathing process and integrating the movement of the legs. So as I inhale, following the breath through the nostrils all the way down into the abdomen, I can send the legs slightly away from the abdomen, allowing for that expansion, the rise. And then as I exhale, allow the legs to fall back towards the abdomen. As we continue to take this movement, what it does, it also calms the digestive system, helps the digestive system relax and work more efficiently, eases the low spine and the hips. Again, integrating the breath with the movement is key. Good. And from here, you can keep one leg drawn in and extend one up to the ceiling if you want to give it a bit of a circle in the ankle and foot. Good. Switch legs. Nice. Good. If you're feeling up for it, you can, before you lower the legs, check in with that lower back, let the pelvis drop. You can give the legs a bit of a shake. Good. And then lower the legs back down to the ground. Remove that cushion from the pelvis, from under the pelvis. Just place it to the side. Extend the legs, draping the knees over that blanket once again. And then just take a moment to check in. Notice what you feel here. Notice the body's relationship to the ground. Nice. Keep inviting the awareness of that natural breathing process from the nostrils down into the abdomen and back out. You can also invite the exhalation out of the mouth, so it doesn't need to be out of the nostrils. However, I do encourage the inhalation through the nostrils, But the exhalation, your choice, can be through the mouth or nostrils, whatever allows you to soften and release the body closer to the ground. Good. And then eventually let's bend the knees once again, placing the feet on the ground. I'm going to grab one of the cushions and I'm going to actually place a cushion on either side of me. That way I don't have to kind of fight to get the other one when I move to the other side. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll to one side and place the cushion between the knees and see if you can get it right up against the pubic bone, supporting the inner thighs, the legs, the knees. This rolled up folded towel, rolled up blanket or towel rather, I can place under the skull. And then I'm just going to take a few moments to just rest here. Again, breathing in and out of the nostrils, following the journey of the breath. See if I can let the weight of the right side fall, sink into the earth. And then what I'm going to do is remove the cushion for just a moment. And then I'm going to lead with the top arm and leg up towards the ceiling and over to the other side. And then when the bottom limbs are ready to join, I can roll myself over to the other side, just if you need to. Placing the cushion between the legs. Again, just having a little rest here. Good. Letting that left side sink into the earth. Let the right leg, right arm fall heavy onto the bottom limbs, or you can rest the arm on the top leg. Follow the natural breathing process in through the nose all the way down to the abdomen and back out. Good. And then remove the cushion again. Release the leg, the top leg, the right leg on the left, and then start your way over to the right side, leading with the right arm, right leg, all the way to the right, and then just let the left follow. And see if you can now roll from side to side at your own pace. Keep the legs as drawn in as close to the abdomen as possible, making this roll from side to side with as little effort as possible. The more I can lead with the top limbs, allowing the bottom limbs to follow, the more I get out of the low back and over engaging in the abdomen. So keeping the nervous system soft. Good. Nice. Keep following the breath in through the nostrils, all the way down and back out the mouth or nostril. Good. And then eventually arrive to the center, placing the soles of the feet on the ground, bending the knees. I can remove the support from under my skull. I'm going to find my bridge prep here. And this next exercise is so great to kind of unhinge, unlock the lower spine and the SI joints. Yeah, to free them up a little bit. And know that the movement is quite subtle. And if you are in that acute phase where things feel so locked up, you can't move, you're feeling quite a bit of discomfort and pain, be patient with yourself. Yeah, that's totally fine. Just keep moving gently, moving slowly. And if we do a little bit of this every day, we will start to find that mobility or gain that mobility back. What we want to do is reduce the panic response and see if we can keep regulating that nervous system, tapping into the parasympathetic, which is the relaxation response, and working from there. I know it's really hard when you're feeling frustrated and overwhelmed with the pain and discomfort, but trust me, be patient with it. Keep revisiting this every day if you are in that acute phase, and just notice the gradual progression, okay? So as I'm resting here, if I can imagine the back of the pelvis like a clock, I call this exercise the pelvic clock. So if I'm resting the pelvis on the face of a clock, so the top of the pelvis just below my belly button is 12 o'clock. To the left is 3 o'clock. My tailbone is 6 o'clock. And my right side is 9 o'clock. Okay? So what we're going to do gently here is if I gently press into my right foot, I'm going to roll towards 3 o'clock. And then as I release back into the center, I'm going to gently press into that left foot and roll towards 9 o'clock. So just take a few moments to roll from 3 to 9. Nice and easy, nice and gently. Again, follow that breathing process through the nostrils, all the way down and back out. Good. And again, if this is the first time just getting familiar with this movement, or familiar with it again, or starting to work with releasing some of those sticky points, you can just stay with this version for a while. Or if you want, you can invite an external rotation. So again, as I gently press my right foot and roll to 3 o'clock, can I let that left leg fall out into half butterfly here? I'm just gonna move these cushions out of my way. Yeah. And see if you can avoid collapsing in that right foot and releasing the grounding of the right foot. Keep the right foot grounded. Let the trajectory of that right knee move forward as you roll towards 3 o'clock, releasing that left leg. And then, ooh, I just had a spontaneous adjustment there. Roll yourself back to the back of the pelvis. Gently press the left foot and roll towards 9 o'clock. Releasing the right leg into external rotation. You can think of the pelvis lengthening away from the skull here. Good. And then just gently roll from 3 to 9 at your own pace. Again, you can either take it the first version we did, or if you want to add a little more of that external rotation and lengthening of the pelvis. Keep integrating the breath with the movement. Good. Nice. And then eventually return back to the center. And then I'm going to find or envision my 12 and 6 o'clock. So 12 being just below the belly button, 6 o'clock the tailbone. And if I press into my feet, I'm going to allow the pelvis to roll towards 12 o'clock, towards the belly button, letting that fall to the ground. So as I press the feet, I'm not pushing down with the pelvis. The pelvis is rolling as a result, nice and easy to 12, and then release to 6 o'clock towards the tailbone, still finding the length in that lower back. Don't overarch and compress. Can I keep finding that tailbone lengthening, lengthening, lengthening away to my 6 o'clock and then 12. Good. Nice. Gentle, easy, subtle with the breath. If you feel like you want to take this further, as you exhale and press into the feet, rolling to 12 o'clock, you can peel 6 o'clock off the rest of the clock, 12 o'clock, the lower spine, mid-spine, and then roll yourself back down. Again, be patient with yourself. This might not happen the first go, the first day, the first practice. I was in an accident in Thailand a few years ago, and a couple weeks after I got home, my body went into shock and seized up, and I could not do this. And this is what inspired me actually to start my YouTube channel way back then. So I'm kind of recreating that initial video because I know there's a few people in my community, in this community, that are feeling quite jammed up and are experiencing quite a bit of low back, hip pain. So that's the inspiration for this video. Good. And then eventually when you lower the pelvis back to the ground, let's see if we can now play with and find all the other numbers of the clock, the numbers in between 12, 3, 6, and 9. So I can gently roll to 12 and then maybe pressing into that right foot and see if I can find 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the right, 10, 11 back to 12. So now you're creating circles with the pelvis. So can I go clockwise, touching each number with the pelvis? Good. Again, keep inviting the breath. Try not to hold the breath as you do this. Sometimes when we focus so hard, we hold the breath. So just check in with that. Are you hyper-focused and holding tight? See if you can release some of that over-focused tension. Yeah. Allow yourself to just discover and play and find the circle, find the clock, move counterclockwise at some point. Good. Yeah, and eventually you can allow the circles to get bigger, switch directions at any point. And then if it feels okay with you, you can roll yourself up into bridge and try a little bit of circling of the pelvis here, grounding in your feet. in those heels. Yeah, I'm avoiding jamming or pressing the pelvis up towards the ceiling. I want to still keep it heavy and loose. Yeah. Less engagement and squeezing and tightening actually allows for more mobility and movement. Good. Nice. Good. And then when you're satisfied with that, draw the legs back into the abdomen for a brief moment. Take a little hug of the legs, rock side to side, circle the legs. Good. Nice. And then let's roll ourselves over onto the front of the body. Okay. And see if we can start on our elbows and forearms. Okay. Yeah, finding that pubic bone towards the ground. Again, I don't want to squeeze the glutes and tighten the legs. Can I let everything kind of be like jello? Let it loose. Again, allow that pubic bone to ground. And then I can play with a little bit of spinal flexion and extension here. So I may do a little inhale, doming the thoracic spine, the upper spine, dropping the head, shaking it out. And then exhale, allow the movement to come from this part of the spine between the shoulder blades, up the neck, base of the skull, and out. So I'm not looking to take my head back because that cuts the flow off. Can I create length? That's what we're here to do today, is find space in the spine, not compression. We want to move away from compression. Good. And then moving in and out a few times with the breath. You can either inhale into the flexion and exhale into extension here. Or I can inhale, following the breath from the nostrils into the abdomen in my extension, and then exhale in my flexion. Good. And then release the forehead on the hands, bend the knees, and rock the legs side to side. Good. And then let's take a moment to bring the legs back to the center, lower the legs, place the hands on the ground, push yourself up into child's pose. So you're going to release the pelvis towards the heels. Good. Release the elbows, the forehead. Nice. Let the weight of the pelvis really fall. If you want to place the hands at the pelvis, and as you exhale, allow or guide the pelvis down towards the heels. Good. Nice. And then let's bring our hands back onto the ground, curl the toes under, and then, I don't know what these beads are coming from, weird, where they're coming from. Curl the toes under. We're going to play with our downward dog. So I did the whole downward dog series the last couple weeks, so you can check in with that to find the foundation of downward dog. So we'll do a little bit of rocking here, shifting the weight into the legs, the feet. Find your variation of downward dog. Again, you can keep the knees bent if you like, or take the feet wider, your choice. Keep breathing.
Following the natural process of the breath in through the nostrils, all the way down and back out. Good. Nice. And then lowering the knees. And then let's find our way back onto the elbow and forearms. Let's do a few more flexion and extension of the spine in cobra or sphinx here. And be gentle, go easy. Find that length. Sometimes I like pressing my elbows, digging my elbows a little more into the ground and kind of driving them back so that I get out of that lower back and find length. Find the energy in that thoracic spine, the upper spine. Good. So I don't compress in the lumbar spine, the lower spine. Good. Nice. And then again, let's push ourselves up into our child. Good. Taking a few breaths here. In through the nostrils, down to the abdomen and back out. Good. And then let's find another downward dog. Yeah, pedal the feet if you'd like. Find freedom in your dog here. So I'm never about hang out there, hold, squeeze, squeeze. No. Let's keep finding space. Good. Hopefully your spine is starting to feel a little more spacious and long. Good. Excellent. If you want to take a little bit of cat-cow here, lowering the knees, and then doming the spine, I can take a bit of shifting the pelvis towards the heels, super gentle shift. Good. And then come into that extension. Again, can I find length in the back of the neck and the lower spine so I'm not sinking and compressing. Long, long, long. Good. Yeah. Again, dome and extend. Nice. And then let's finish here. Take a few moments to rest in our child's pose and really follow the natural process, breathing process. And here we can bring in all our friends to help us. So the softer cushion or smaller cushion, you can kind of draw up towards the abdomen and then lower the abdomen on the cushion, and then see if you can lower the forehead onto, I might get crushed here. Lowering the forehead onto the blanket, the cushion. Good. And just finding some ease here. If you feel that you can't sit on the heels, feel free to put something between the legs, a cushion between the legs and under the pelvis, if you need to elevate it a little more, if this is too strong. So aim to find comfort, find support where you can relax here for a few breaths. Again, following the natural breathing process through the nostrils, all the way down and back out. Release the weight of the body to the ground. Good. And you can stay here as long as you'd like. Don't feel like you need to come up right away. If you want to finish your practice here, you can. I just invite you to, when you are satisfied with this positioning, at some point, again, it doesn't have to be right now, but at some point, remove your supports, come back onto the ground, rest the forehead on the hands, bend the knees, and rock the legs side to side. Good. And then eventually release the legs. Roll yourself over onto your back. You can either just extend the legs long on the ground. Again, this doesn't have to be the second. If you're enjoying a little child's pose, stay there. And this is just something to move to when you're ready. You can extend the legs directly on the ground or find the support under your knee once again, your knees. And then just take as much time as you need to rest here. Take a few moments to acknowledge yourself for showing up for you, for your body today. And know that no matter what, you are safe in your body. I want you to keep reminding yourself that you are safe and that these movements are not harmful. As long as we go easy, gently, and keep reminding ourselves that we are safe within ourselves. So again, take all the time you need here. I just want to say thank you for joining in this practice. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, share this video, comment if you'd like, share your thoughts. Also, I would love it if you would share this channel, this video, this practice with someone who you think would benefit from the practices on this channel or this specific practice. And yeah, until next time, ease into your best life. Think love, speak love, be loved.